Hallelujah. Thine the glory. Revive us again. Well, good day to you, brothers and sisters. Going to show you something cool as always. This is going to be a very quick part two to the Great Wine Press, the video I did earlier today. In the video teaching that I did today on the Great Wine Press, I kind of made it sound like Revelation 14, 600 furlongs worth of blood coming up to the horses' bridles is the distance of the Kidron Valley, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the Valley of Decision between the Mount of Olives and Jerusalem Temple. So I wanted to clarify that 1,600 furlongs found in late in the chapter of Revelation 14. That's 200 miles worth of blood. That's going to be the result of Jesus appearing above the Mount of Olives. Hallelujah, at the pouring of the seventh bowl. So I'm going to show you my guess on what's meant by Revelation 14's 1,600 furlongs worth of blood up to the height, 4 feet or whatever it is, up to a horse's bridles. Here's what I think it is. Don't forget that there's going to be the nations gathered in the valley of Armageddon and up the Golan Heights all the way up to Mount Hermon. You're going to have the good and the bad. That's Matthew 22's wedding hall. The gathering to Armageddon during the sixth bowl of Revelation 16. But in Isaiah 63, we read in part 1 that Jesus is coming up from the south of Jerusalem, up from the Basra area. The southern half of Jordan called Edom. And Basra is located right here today, Basra, Basira. This area of southern Edom, southern Jordan, here's the Dead Sea right here. This is Basra, this area right here. And again, it's mentioned in Isaiah 63. I believe, brothers and sisters, that the 200-mile stretch in the lowest part of the valleys, stretching from the Mount Hermon area, which is the tip-top northern edge of this Valley of Jezreel, Valley of Armageddon, from there, north of the Sea of Galilee, we're talking about up there near Mount Hermon, and I'll show you here on Google Earth, and you stretch that line all the way down to Basra, you come to about 200 miles. So let's check it out. Let's go ahead and start up here at the very northern portion right in here of this Valley of Armageddon. This Valley of Armageddon is like a shofar, this being the mouthpiece, and reaching all the way up to Mount Hermon through the Golan Heights. This is I did a lesson on this called Sign of the Son of Man. But here's the Valley of Armageddon. I believe that this 200-mile stretch of blood deep into the river valley, or creek beds, or whatever you want to call it, Jordan River, starts right about here and stretches all the way down through the Sea of Galilee, down through the Dead Sea, down to Basra. Now, you got to remember, brothers and sisters, this is the pouring of the seventh bowl we're talking about when Jesus appears, and the chastisement for Israel is coming to an end from the sixth seal to the seventh bowl. So we know the Nile River and Euphrates River is dried up. I got a feeling the Sea of Galilee and the Dead Sea, everything's going to literally be dead and dried up, I believe. But let's turn this around so we can face south, face towards Basra from the northern edge of the Valley of Armageddon. All right, let me get my Google Earth right so we can do this. Okay. Now let's really zoom in. Now this height, this distance right here, you can kind of see the shofar pretty good here. This being the mouthpiece around Haifa, Israel. Again, we're facing south. And then this Valley of Armageddon really counts the Golan Heights too during this battle. And this whole area up to Mount Hermon is your upside down shofar. You're looking south, so the shofar is upside down, this being the hill of Nazareth. Hallelujah. But this whole stretch right here of 200 miles from The Mount Hermon edge all the way down to Basra is 200 miles, and I think that's the lower elevation stretch of 200 miles mentioned in Revelation 14. Let's take a closer look at it now. Of course, it says 1,600 furlongs in Revelation 14. Let's come on down here a little bit closer. And we're going to draw a 200-mile line and see if it comes out near Basra. Looking at the topography, I would say the lowest point's going to be somewhere down in here. Let's just start our line. We got line selected. Let's start it right about here in this low point. And now we're going to head south towards Basra for 200 miles. And this is my current understanding. I'll word it like that. Again, all these seas are going to be dried up, pretty sure. We're going to stay at the low point, go 200 miles, and see if it comes out around Basra. Okay, I'm at 200 miles now, looking at the distance on my little white box here. All right, here's 200 miles. What's the low point? We'll just click right there. Now let's back out and see where Basra is. Okay, right here is the Basra area of Edom, southern Jordan. Again, I'm the top of the screen is south, bottom north. So this is Basra. So yeah, we stopped our line right here. Now let's spin back around, take another look at it. Almost to Paran. All right, so there's our line, that bold yellow line right there for 200 miles, 1,600 furlongs, this being the Basra area. Our line stopped right about here. Yeah, I'm buying it. I'm buying what I'm selling. So, of course, this is the shofar of the valley, and this being Mount Hermon up here. This is Damascus. Here we start getting into higher elevations. So that riverbed, Jordan riverbed, you might say, from there to the Basra area that stopped right here is 1,600 furlongs. We know that Jesus is going to stand on the Mount of Olives. He's also going to be hovering in his cherub above the Mount of Olives at some point. And he's going to be coming from this area with his whirlwinds. Zechariah 9 says the inhabitants of Jerusalem who are they were under siege for 430 days, but now for the last few days there's been a gap in the wall put there by fathers, says Ezekiel 13, and now 50% of the inhabitants have been taken away as slaves, and then Jesus comes at the pouring of the seventh bowl on the last day to save the day. But that's what I believe is the 1,600 furlongs mentioned in Revelation 14. Well, brothers and sisters, I hope this has made it a little bit more clear in regards to the lesson, part 1 of the Great Winepress. So yeah, Kidron Valley, the Valley of Decision and the Valley of Jehoshaphat, that's where the inhabitants are going to be led out over to Bethany, ancient Azal, mentioned in Zechariah 14 when Jesus stands on the Mount of Olives. But Revelation 14's wine press, blood up so many feet to the horses' bridles for 200 miles, I believe is that entire region. Almost like southern Israel to even further north than northern Israel. Northern Armageddon Valley down to Basra. Hallelujah. Hope it's been a blessing to you, and I can't wait to see you next time. God bless.